So we have this, as you say, a circumstance of panic, but not of dedicated response or anything like that. But the reality is that a lot of the people here are living targets and are very much in danger. And sooner or later, you may have to trade off different efforts, against that. The first person to go in phase 6 is going to be Anybug.
So I've got Devour in front of me, enraged.
Yeah.
I think what Anybug is, you'll see a thought bubble going out of Anybug's head, and Anybug is saying, I must control this raging beast, but I've got to protect the people. And I think what Anybug is going to try to be doing then is running. You'll see the proboscis phase in, phase out going on, and he's back to Assassin Bug proboscis, and is going to try another charge at Devour, but is going to try to play angles and looking place where if I get another good hit at Devour and push him back, he would be pushed away from. I'm looking for a spot where I could possibly push him to that would be further away from.
Right, you're going to try and target him properly next time. Aim him if you can. Right. And so there's a couple of going to be some very interesting considerations in this, but the first one will be you need to make a perception check for something bad that may happen to you.
Okay. So my perception is 13. And I rolled a 8.
Okay. You are aware that Killer Coil has sneaked up behind you.
Okay.
However, therefore you get your full dexterity defense against her. But the trouble is that she rolls a 5. So therefore you suddenly you're like trying to like strategize with Devour and all the rest of it, and then you're like, oh no, there's Killer Coil, and wham, that's when the tentacles like seize you, pull you in to her, and of course she's done this 1,000 times, right? Tentacle, pull you in, and just ready for that palm strike, dragging you straight into it. And so that hits you for 40 points. And 10 body. Now you can look at your defenses, which are right. You can look at your defenses, which I think are written in there at the bottom. I think I summarized everybody's defenses at the bottom. What does it say at defense up at the top?
Oh, it's 17.
Right. Okay. So therefore, you're going to take 23 body.
Okay.
Now 23 knockout. Now that's not twice. That's not your stunned number. So you're not going to be stunned. But you are also going to. You're also going to be personally, physically damaged by the sharpness, the sharp end. So you're actually going to end up taking 2 body damage as well. So she has physically punched into you with that sharp end of the tentacle as well. So therefore you definitely have been, seized, punched, and stabbed all at once.
Okay.
Let's just say this is your least fun moment of superheroing ever.
Okay, so, and I'm kind of grappled then at this point.
Exactly correct. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so breaking out is a feat of strength. And you did set up the proboscis. So you do have your action. You're not stunned, so you still have your action.
Okay. I mean, I wonder if it would make sense for me with my action just to she's kind of pulled me to her. Is that correct?
Yep.
And so, I mean, I think with my proboscis out, then what I would be looking to do is to see if I could, give up on Devour for now, and he gets turned around and would yell, but say, "It looks like you are the new target of the assassin bug."
So the first thing you have to do is to get free of the grab before you can attack.
Okay.
Even if the special effect is that you remain in the tentacles, you have to be able to control your own actions enough to get in an attack. That's a feat of strength. So that's 6 dice of strength. Now, 6 dice of strength isn't very much against like these nasty wrapping mechanical coils. So therefore, you may want to push your strength.
And to push the strength,
you spend a ton of endurance and you get more dice.
Okay. And what's the conversion factor for?
I'll just give you the total for purposes of play. 16 endurance will get you 2 more dice for a total of 8.
Yeah, and I think I've got it. I mean, my endurance with the power pack is 52.
Right.
And I know I've spent 20 so far. But yeah, that sounds good. I think I'll spend another 16.
I actually think you've spent more than 20. You've made a couple of attacks. So
yeah, let me see. Yeah. Well, I had because
you had the proboscis strike and you had the stink jet.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be 8 each. But okay, and you've been jumping around a lot too. So I'm actually going to spitball it and say that you've probably spent as much as 30. But but go ahead. If you're going to spend those 16, you go right ahead and then roll 8 dice.
28.
Excellent. Well, body, actually. Grimfire, what are you going to do? I'm curious.
I wanted to talk to my old villain and convince him that the best course of action is to eat this ball of mind control, to devour it.
Oh, very, very interesting. Okay.
And I got 8 body.
Okay. That's enough to loosen things up a little bit. That you're able to like shrug away and like force, kind of thing, where the tentacles are off of you. But you didn't just like fling them all off you, so you don't have a whole lot of activity left. But you are free of it, so good enough there. Grimfire, go ahead and tell us how you're going to do this.
So, is the Devourer still covered and blinded by the stinky thing, or not?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Damn it. I cannot see shit.
The plus side is that nobody's been, like, eaten yet.
Yeah, well, if you can't see anything, then I suppose there's no point talking to him because he doesn't see what I want him to attack. No, well, telepathy... it's gonna be super weird.
He can hear you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
there's food right in front of you. That's
Yeah, let's go with this. So I'm not talking to him like speaking. This is like a telepathy to the Devourer, and I say, "Welcome."
Well, I was kind of curious with the telepathy that you've got. What is that? Where does it say that?
I don't know. Powers telepathy 46.
It's pretty specific.
Detective work.
Right, that's a different thing. That's when you're doing detective work, and it means that you get more information about people's motives. It's not like mind-to-mind telepathy. It's a perceptual thing that's related.
Okay.
It's kind of like when you do detective work, you can see into the minds of the people that you have investigated because you're just that good a detective.
Okay. Then instead of telepathy, let's not happening. I just like approach him and like no, then it doesn't make sense because he doesn't see this ball of something. Yeah, well, in this case, I'm just like running full speed, firing my fist, and I'm going to slam into the the domino and deliver the
Time to punch that guy. Yes.
The hypocrisy.
Yes.
To this.
Absolutely. Somebody needs to get punched. I think we all agree on that one, right? So go ahead and you're going to spend a bunch of endurance to get over there, about 3 endurance to get over there, and then you're going to punch, and you are going to roll a hit.
I rolled 8.
Very nice for the hit. Go ahead and roll your damage, which is going to be a strength, which is 6 dice plus the extra for the
With
drain.
martial arts, last time I rolled 9.
Right, 9. That's correct. 9 plus 3, correct. And you got a -1 to hit because you moved, but you rolled pretty low, so that's not a problem.
-1 die or
No, don't worry about that. I'm talking back with something that I resolved already.
okay. So I think that it's 23, but but I don't really believe this counting. 11, 15, 22. No, this counting is off. 23, 29.
That's pretty good.
I have to report that roll for your party is lying to me.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so then what I want is for you to learn something kind of interesting. You yourself first of all, you're going to get the punch in. The fiery punch goes on the domain, but there's a weird effect that occurs. You're going to take 16 knockout, which I think your defenses might actually stop if you look at your total defenses.
My defense with force field is 19.
Right. So the damage isn't going to hit you, but what will hit you is 5 points of knockback. So you are actually going to be flung backwards about 10 meters. So when you hit him, there's something about the reality that the domain stands in that just flings you crazily away. So it's like you kind of bounce off him, but not bounce like a ball, more like you're just in anything that comes near just gets crazily flung away. So you are sent here. I'm going to make a little roll to see which way you go. You're actually going to land all the way back in some of the sound equipment and trucks that have, they unfold the side of the trucks with all the sound equipment and stuff like that in there. And you slam straight into there. And again, you'll take a similar amount of damage, but it's not going to, your force field will protect you. But you end up in this broken mess of electronic equipment, half in and outside of this truck, which is now tipped over from being flung back there. Now, the only good thing about this is that you actually see that the domain took some damage. The domain actually is reacting, and the two halves, the female and the male half, are sliding past each other in a disorganized way.
So I suppose as I like come out from this like broken speakers and everything, I will like point at the domain and listen, you hypocrite.
That again.
Now there's more of this where it came from.
That's right. Now, unfortunately, your presence attack this time is only 3d6, which is barely worth rolling. Do you know why? Because you're making the same presence attack back on the same character. Right? So, in other words, doing basically the same thing, saying the same thing over and over to a given character, the effectiveness drops very sharply.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I still deliver the line. Next time I will change it.
That's no problem. But therefore, that occurred to you. You didn't take much damage out of all that, but you got thrown around a lot. And so then the next person to go will be the witch.
I think I want to try and throw off this mind control that I'm under.
Excellent.
Seems like the sensible thing to do.
Mm-hmm. So. Mind War.
Yeah, so having been mind controlled, is this a thing where I could can I shift some of my power pool around to try and help me get out of this?
Yes, you can, because you did not get a 4 levels of effect mind control, which basically turns you into a puppet. Yeah, you're struggling against it and can like try and wiggle your powers and, you know, sort of try to work within the confines of the mind control to, you know, break yourself free.
Yeah. All right. So, having
the easiest thing is ego defense, which in this game is defined as removing the effects of dice. So he actually gets less dice against you. So what we would do, starting at the top, so that means that we would look at the roll that he made and just eliminate dice based on every 5 points you want to put into it.
Let us do that very thing. So the question I have then is, what was our effect? How many points am I going to have to put into it? And I don't want to put any more points into it than I have to for spending more endurance than I have to.
Getting down to that amount, we don't know until you roll exactly. But,
I still got to roll it. Okay,
right.
Sorry. I misunderstood that.
Technically, you're right. We should just be looking at his roll. But I don't have those dice in front of me.
Okay.
So I'm going to estimate. You would have to put 25 points in.
I'll do that.
Mm-hmm. So now, if you want to make them spend endurance, then you can drop their cost to you all the way down to 12. Out of the variable power pool. And I think you have plenty of endurance, so
I got plenty of endurance. Yeah.
So go ahead and do that. Spend 5 endurance, and then you still got 28 points in your power pool to mess with.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's nice. So then
28 power points could be an 11 die blast.
Wait.
No, you can't. You could do a 40-point an 8d6 blast. And just give it the limit. Just give it a burnout.
Top out at 40, right? Because of the variable.
Yeah, exactly.
Pool, right?
But if you limit the blast to 28 points by giving it a burnout roll, why not? Right.
So, what is the deal with the side effects?
What does the side effects say?
It says side effect 20 points opposite of whatever VPP is used.
That's right. I haven't been doing that. The whole point was that powers were going off that were the opposite of what you did.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So by, I'm sorry, I'm not playing this very well. I'm not. No, it's tough when I make up the characters and then have to play the characters. You guys don't have sort of the ownership of all the mechanics of the characters, so it's a little harder for me to keep everything straight. So I apologize for that.
You said this is also super kind of mechanically complex. So I mean. Presumably, or whatever, not mechanically complex, but like there's a lot of plot stuff going on.
Right.
Like it's.
Okay. Go ahead and do what you're doing, and then I'll set off the side effects.
Got it. Cool. Okay. All right. So you know what this looks like is kind of like I throw off the golden tendrils that are coming towards me. I kind of like wave a hand, and like those my dark smoke kind of comes and just sort of like snips through it, and then lashes out towards them. And what it looks like is there's like little hooks in them that are hooking in and pulling out like ones and twos of all those extra personalities that are kind of piled in, and that's how I'm damaging it by pulling out like bits of their gestalt thing that they have going on.
Excellent. And that's one of your psychological limitations too, that you're interested in like trying to figure out the domain. So that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
So therefore, go ahead and roll to hit.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Let me get my back to my dice rolling. Oh man!
What'd
it's
you roll?
17.
Oh, that's not so good at all.
It's not gonna. Yeah, no,
okay,
it's good.
So basically, right. Well, the side effects then hit you, and
that's right. Yeah,
and unfortunately, you're gonna hate this, but. You just got 21 points back of mind control.
Okay.
It seems the only thing. It just snaps back. So, right.
Yeah, that's completely...
So we have psychic battles going on here, right? We have the domain, like, enraged, is, like, attempting to control the witch, and the witch is using her magic, and the controls, like, going in, going out, going up, going down, going left, going right. You know, everything's major metaphysical pyrotechnics are going off between the two of them right now. So with that happening, we move into the witch. Oh, sorry, is always followed by Grimfire. That makes things easy. Pavel, sorry to make you wait so long. Talk to me about Grimfire. Who just got dropped, but not hurt.
Yeah, well, I guess with this like blue stuff, I guess.
I will say that the domain is standing over there, completely engaged with the witch. However, you did just try to punch the domain, and that didn't go so well. You did some damage, though.
Yeah, I think Greenfire says that the key is knocking out this like blue ball in the air that mind control stuff, and if he cannot do it, he needs this cool bug guy. So he just like shouts at the. Do I have to?
I should point out that Champions is very, very generous to coordinated tactics.
Yeah.
So if you suggest a coordination and then just hold your action till their next action, you'll be surprised at what you're going to be able to accomplish. If you describe it, I'll just run the mechanics in my head, and you'll be kind of amazed at what the heroes can do together.
Well, for coordination, we need any bug free of the tentacle. So.
No, but he did. He shook them off. He got out of the tentacles.
Oh, okay. So I suppose I will just run and position myself just under the blue ball and just begin to fire both of my fists and just shout, "Hey, cool bug guy, come up, give me a lift. We need to punch this thing."
So what you do is it's called an assist, and it's actually pretty easy. What you're going to do, it depends on what any bug wants to do.
But you're asking me to lift you?
Yeah, because I can't jump. Come on, give me a lift to the ball of flight.
Okay, so is any bug free to do an action right now, or do I?
Let's see. So there's that. There was you shrugged free, and then we had Grimfire and the Witch, and then we're moving in on phase 8. Domain's going to get an action before you can. So while you guys are trying to set yourselves up, right, to do this, incidentally, you might wonder what Killer Coil is doing at this point. Killer Coil with a magnificent roll of 6, because being controlled by the domain is actually taking her off mission. And so now that a certain amount of time has passed and there's a contradiction between the mission that she's on, which was to kill Ruby Ray, and doing what the domain tells her, the switch shuts off. And I just made the roll. Killer Coil just goes face down into the dirt. Bam! Just switches right off. So you guys got lucky for that, but so that's what happens there. And the domain at this point, really, it's tough to control the witch with that variable stuff. That's the problem. Which way, says the witch? This way, that way, the other way. I do it this way, it comes back that way. And the domain is like, either I own that, or I have to kill it. And so, but the domain is fairly, the domain is going to do, now that more mind control has come in on you from your own side effects, the domain is going to burn like all of its endurance. And what this is visual, right? The blinding white glow basically blots out the sky, and the domain is godlike in its impressiveness, and the collective will of all of the people who've colluded to create the existence of the domain is focused, and the domain says, "This is America. This is the real America." And deviants are tolerated as long as they comply. But you're not as good as I am. For really insane amount of dice with that push, because we're burning like 25 endurance, pretty much almost all the endurance the domain has left, really. And yeah, the which unfortunately is 20. What do you say to 49 points of effect, Jim?
Yeah, I say
right.
Yeah,
the witch is completely, puppeteer. You do the whole thing, right? Where you just basically your hands go limp and your head sags, and the domain says, now any which way it goes is my way, and is going to give a command to the witch next when the next turn comes. So you guys can see that this is happening.
And I think it would be cool if, normally the witch is all battered and everything, but if I when they take over me, it's clear they've taken me over because kind of my head pops up. I pull my hair back and I smile.
That's right. Yes, you're a compliant now. You're a good girl now.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Perfect. Gay is fine as long as you all support the military and pay your homeowner's insurance. And don't protest war. You go right ahead. Be good. So, and don't talk. So, you're kind of up against not the brainless alt-right yelping in the stands. You're up against the true co-option. Get a white picket fence. So, the horrifying thing is that the voices of your parents are in there somewhere. Yeah. So let's take a look now. Oh, and right about now is when Devour finally, shakes its head and snorts, and its terrible bloodshot eyes, come up and is looking around. So yeah, Devour is back in the game, and not real happy. Oh, you're lucky. Does not go into phase 3 Enrage. Phase 3 Enrage is more powers, different powers get activated for Devour. So let's take it to. That's the end of that phase, I think. That was 7. No, that was 8 for domains. 9. Anybug. Wait. Is that right? Yes. Anybug coming in. So you're going to set up Grimfire for something?
Yeah, well, I think what I'm going to try. So we're going after this globe, and Grimfire needs a boost, which I think I might be able to provide with my jump. I am getting pretty low on endurance. So how does that work when you run out of?
You start burning, you're at knockout.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it's random. So you don't know, you can't strategize it. You don't know how much you're going to be losing with each attempt when you start burning your own reserves to make things happen.
Okay. Because
so
I think
at that point you're in the I don't know if I can make it sort of mode.
Right. I think, it says with my power pack I have 52 endurance. I think I'm down to about 4 endurance now.
Right. So if the jump will clean you out. If you want to, Yeah, but you've got, you won't knock yourself out yet. Is all I have to say. You've got enough for the jump. Jumps are cheap, actually. And you're
Just a question, because last round we didn't count out my endurance. You said 3 for punch, and then no 3 for
3 for the movement, and then I think it was something like 9 for the punch.
Okay.
So yeah, 12 for you. Yeah, good point. So you guys should be getting a little lower too. So the good news is that the opponents are also feeling the pinch. Champions Combat is more fun when everybody's exhausted and taking recoveries and trying to strategize who goes when. So let's see. Let's take it to Anybug. You're going to grab him and jump?
Yeah, I think Anybug will run over and say, "Come on, Grimfire. I've got a little bit left. Let's end this now."
Mm-hmm. And
high five.
Yes, and not only that, but you don't have to roll to hit a willing hero, right? Mm-hmm. And so boing, jump up, Grimfire.
Yeah, let's hope I don't miss this one. They're gonna be really embarrassing then.
The good news is that with an assist, you use the helping hero's attack, and his attack is better than yours.
I rolled 10.
Right. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Okay. And you didn't move. He moved you, so you don't get a minus for that. So that's good too. So no problem. Roll that damage.
If possible, I'm probably targeting the same weak spot, unless it moved, then probably.
Nope. No, it's all still there. No problem. The weak spot's there.
12, 15, 20, 25, 31.
How about that body? The sixes and remember counting it the other way?
Yeah, 9.
9. That's actually excellent. You shatter it. That does it. So, bam! The globe is finally taken down. And the other good news for that too, of course, is that Anybug lands with Grimfire, and therefore you don't, for example, have to fall again. So yeah, and lands. You just basically, I think it's kind of a going by. You just time it and just take it with a punch on the way. Anybug probably turns upside down in the air with you, to land, and so you guys land, and then there's and so the globe dissipates, and the witch's eyes open. Hey.
I just wanted to say that it probably looked like if you are playing Tom Skater and you are in there doing, it's like one punch, second punch, and then he jumps again, and then third punch and fourth punch, and then finally it goes off.
Yeah.
Just for the aesthetics.
Mm-hmm. So what has happened is that you've landed together, which is pretty awesome, and that's 9. Oh, dudes. Oh, man. Well, everything went wrong, and the domain psychological limitation that goes into meltdown is kicked in. So that means the domain is shattering into all of its... The collective will cannot be maintained, and staggering away from each other is a man and a woman who are well-known. They're not quite representatives or council members. What they are is somewhere in that weird collusion of academic, lobbyist, political spokesperson kind of, position. They have all these business. They're recognizable public figures. But they're staggering apart from each other, holding their heads as the whole effect of the domain is starting to dissipate. So that happens.
I suppose since now they don't seem so intimidating, maybe Grimfire will address the witch and just say, "Witch, it's time to tie up the criminals and give them to the law officers."
Old school superhero. And so excellent. So yes, Grimfire has his opinion on that, and that brings us to that brings us to the action of the witch herself.
What's I want to call him Rampage. What that's not his name. Devour. What is what's Devour's status right now?
Unfortunately, Devour is about to kill people.
Yeah, so this is where I say to that dude, like the guy that's staggering away, one of your constituents would like a word with you.
Oh no!
And I reach out with the telekinesis, and I sweep him up and just like deliver him right to like right in front of Devour.
Make the ego roll first.
Okay, let's see.
I kind of like the subtext too. It's like deliver them to the authorities, Grimfire. Really?
No, like they just
much better.
Yeah. I got a 7 on the ego roll.
Perfect. So you switch up your roll. Spends the 8 points of endurance for the telekinesis. Do you have it?
Done.
Okay.
I think so. Where's my endurance? Where's it tell me where my endurance tops out?
It should be down there in the build notes or the utility notes, or if not, or right there underneath the see what it says underneath strength and stuff like that. A strength presence. It should say recovery, knockout.
I think it's actually not on my sheet.
Okay, my mistake.
But I've only I've only spent 20 so far. So
okay.
Okay. With that 8. Because mostly what I was doing was trying to fight off mind control, so I haven't actually spent a ton of endurance. So, so yeah, that's another 8.
All right, so good. You have you do, and the fellow is whipped like practically straight into Devour's arms, and say what one might, it keeps him from eating the toddler.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
people can say whatever they want. This is not gonna.
Excellent. Yeah. We'll get to that in just a minute, Ms. Darkside.
I kind of hope there's still some connection so that the rest of them can feel this when it happens.
There's a thought balloon for you.
Yeah.
One of the nice things about Champions,
that's
guys.
My thought balloon. Yeah,
another nice thing about Champions as a superhero game. The rules are completely amoral.
Yes. Yep.
There is no stricture on you will or you won't. There is the word hero is never defined in the rules. And so, therefore, yes, the individual is thrown right into Devour, and Devour just, I don't even know if I have to. Well, it was a really crappy roll, but he didn't need a whole lot. Well, it's ugly. He basically, he buries his head, in the guy, rips his head up, and all this gore spatters everywhere. So next we have, not too pleasant for the grandchild over there, I'm afraid, but therefore let's take a look at endurance at the moment and stun. That's fine. You guys have hardly taken any damage, which again annoys me. But you do have Devour on the loose. Devour grows to be about 18 feet tall, about 6 meters. So you are looking at this titanic monstrosity now. And basically, roars in profound defiance of all of you. The only good news about that, first of all of you will lose an action. That was to all of you, the next action you've got is just gone. Do take a recovery. So take your recovery value, which is the same as your body, and give yourself some endurance back. Yeah.
How much endurance have I lost for this super punch that take out the
That was quite a bit, actually. You lost about 13 to do that. Did that take you down past 0?
No.
Okay.
And you say we get back in endurance what we have in body,
Right.
The recovery.
Right.
Okay.
So did you hear that, Pavel? You can give yourself some endurance back now.
Yeah, I did the math. I think I'm at 26.
Okay, good. Now, the next thing to do is to take it into the first person to go, who's going to be Anybug at phase 3. But you have no action.
But we can talk. Yes, we are.
Yes, you can talk. You've been shocked. You've been shocked and horrified, and are all kind of amazed at what you're up against now.
Yeah, I suppose Grimfire leans over to the and the bucket says, "Hey, Mo, yes? Mo,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Mo, does your grandfather has any sleeping pills? Anything we can use to knock him out? Last time I fought him so big, we destroyed half of the Dallas. So, anything?"
Yeah, this isn't going to go well. Yeah, exactly.
Any sleeping pill or some.
Make an intelligence roll, Anybug.
Okay. All right. My intelligence is 13. I rolled a 10.
Yeah. Sadly, there's really you didn't know anything about this. The only thing you can think of is that maybe you could totally. I mean, the only risky thing is if you make yourself totally vulnerable to him. Totally try to reach him as a person, but that is going to be a real crapshoot at the moment. That's like walking into the barrel of the battleship saying, "Here I am." So just keep in mind you have that option. I'm not sure if you want to take it.
I think given under disadvantages, I'm very brave,
right?
Which is psychological, and also
not only that, but you can be irrational about being brave.
Correct.
Right.
And I'm also very idealistic. Everyone will understand if they just listen to each other.
Oh, here it comes. Oh, all right, guys. This is going to come down to a roll. We could see Anybug absolutely eviscerated in front of your eyes.
So yeah, I think that what Anybug's going to try to do is step in front of.
Right. Well, you don't have an action yet, but what I'm hearing is that you'll tell Grimfire, "I have an idea."
Yes.
Right. Grimfire, of course, thinking, "Oh, good, the medication will do the job." And so the Witch also has an action, but is also, kind of gobsmacked by all of this. Devour does have an action. Right.
To be fair, does it cost him an action to eat that dude?
Yeah, but you flung him to him at 9.
Oh, okay. Oh, he used his previous turn to do that. Okay, yes. Cool. Got it.
Mm-hmm. And so, therefore, you will have the situation where Devour let's see, how is this going to work? I'm trying to think of the different things he can do. All right. He is going to, having feasted a moment ago, having transformed into this bulked up size. Devour is going to make an enrage recovery roll, first of all. He succeeds. Devour blinks and says, "Where? Who?" It is kind of blurry. Is still in phase 2 of the whole thing. but is kind of bleary and is and is going around and it is looking for a moment as though he's trying to assess what's going on. So
now's the moment, Mo.
Yeah,
Now's the moment.
Right. Just bear in mind that the dice are in your favor, because I had to roll to see where he went in terms of, and once he sated that flesh thing, he had a chance to recover from being enraged, and he made it. So he might not have. And if he hadn't, then I would know what to do for his action. So he made the recovery roll. He is currently a little puzzled. Moving into segment 4, and the first one to go is Anybug.
So Anybug is putting all of his hope in reaching out to his grandfather. And that means it's going to be, I'm going to run up in front of Devour. I'm actually going to take off my proboscis so that he can clearly see my face. I don't have my power going anymore so that I'm clearly visible. And I'll say, Grandfather, it's over now. Remember where we are. This was the moment we were all looking for. This is it. We're safe now.
Man, and you're like up against this Titanic-sized thing, right? Opening yourself up like this. So, and your presence doesn't work on a non-player, dependent non-player character. So this is going to have to go by a completely different round. What it's going to give him is another recovery roll to see if he comes down out of the full enrage, because he has 2 levels of it. He fails that roll. He does not recover from being enraged. But knowing the psychological limitations, he is going to shriek in rage, self-loathing, and horror. And will run off. I mean, since he's so big, leaving like really fast is actually really possible for him with these titanic strides and like flinging things behind him. So all of you guys are like covered in junk and people and furniture and rubble and all this stuff. So you guys just get that all flung at you, and he disappears into, what you would imagine. How can he disappear? Right? He's so huge and grotesque and everything. Fine. He transforms. And he has stealth. And combing the streets will find no sign of your grandfather.
And I can see while he's going away, Mo is there saying,
"No!
Grandfather, come back, back, it's
right.
Okay."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we go. I think that pretty much covers most of what we went through in terms of the immediate fight. But what about the aftermath?
Did the woman who was the other half of
she's gettable. She is apprehendable.
Okay.
Right.
So then I'm gonna like having done that to the other one, I'm gonna grab her.
Mm-hmm.
And oh God! And then am I gonna turn her in? I think I'm gonna turn her in.
You can always put an entangle on her, for example.
Yeah. Like I'm deciding. Well, do I want to like go Batman on her?
Right.
Well, more like Spawn on her.
Right.
Or do I want to turn her in? And I think I'm going to turn her in because
okay.
I like, and not only
there
that.
There you go, Grimfire. You got halfway, right?
But
the witch is following your advice halfway, right?
But
very
like,
characteristic for the witch, right? Little of this,
what's that?
Little of that. I was going to,
yeah. But like on camera, on the news, Grimfire out front doing the talking, while I hold on to her, mm-hmm. and the, and like I want the full.
You want this outed,
the full
right? You
Channel
want this,
3,
right?
Channel 3 Eyewitness News,
Right.
perp walk thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So what's going to happen? I mean, any bug I'm going to say is probably distraught, but so at least at the moment. So how are you three going to interact in such a fashion that, is the Witch and Grimfire going to operate together and making a statement and talking to the authorities? Are you guys going to be a trio who's going to say what happened here?
I think I should make a roll because my problem is that I despise this hypocrisy. So I wonder if off camera we should see him killing the other members of this of this collective.
Oh, but the other members of the collective are not visible.
Oh, okay.
Right, they were only visible metaphysically to the Witch.
Okay.
The woman who split apart from the man has been apprehended by the Witch.
Okay. I thought that they all of them manifested over here.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I totally see that. See that we will.
But I can see that the two of you might make a little agreement. We got to hunt this down. The domain is obviously still out there. There's no.
I'm not sure about the domain. I definitely think that Grimfire will try to cheer the Mo a little bit and says that me and your grandfather go a long way in history, and now that he has tasted blood, you might need to find him and deal with the horrors again. Are you with me, Mo?
And I think Mo is distraught, but saying, if we can find my grandfather, we have to do this.
Yeah.
I don't understand who he was. He was always a mystery.
You didn't know anything about this?
We would begin the next session with an investigation into that entire situation. Yes.
And this is this is where the Witch says, now that you know, any more blood he spills, that's on your hands if you don't stop him.
Oh, rub it in a little. Brutal.
Because she's got that 5-point brutally honest.
That's true. Yeah.
This is your responsibility now. Excellent. And we're going to help you, but it's now.
I only want to know in regard to the event itself, if you guys aren't careful, the whole vote thing is going to fall apart because people, even though the domain was stopped in its plot, that doesn't mean that everything is going to go smooth as silk. The whole day, the whole event has been disrupted. Do you guys want to throw your support into the council going ahead with the planned politics?
Oh yeah, I'm very much like this may be the thing that gets the Witch actually on camera to talk to people.
Right, do it.
Which she has been super reluctant to do before.
Right.
And essentially to say, to get up there and say, this affects, for everybody who thinks that this wasn't a problem anymore because everyone's changed their minds, and that the bad old days of of lynching, of gay bashing, of all of that violence is behind us.
Yeah, it's all just signatures and voting now. It's all signatures and voting now, right?
Yes,
Center liberalism will take care of everything.
This is what we're up against, and and we have to fight this because whatever it is about you that is different, they're not going to tolerate that either. Once they're done with us, whatever about you is not 100% lockstep in how they want to see the future. There's no part in that future for you.
Yeah. So
and this is like a,
yeah.
you know, and very much presented as a, if we don't stick together, they're gonna they don't care who they hurt, you know, as long as they're on top. So
Grimfire, do you stand with
like
the
typical activist language?
That's not bad though.
Yeah.
Grimfire, are you?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I don't mean to disparage that. I mean like activist language that activists have used because it's the truth for decades. So
Got it.
yeah.
So Grimfire, do you stand with the witch in this resolve?
Looking at Grimfire hunted disadvantages, I suppose that as soon as some cleanup crews appear, he should be gone, because some widespread religious activism, organization, and other people are going to like. He made his PR at the beginning. Now that all hell broke loose, he should like vanish and like, you know, coach the young heroes from the shadows. Because
okay, so Anybug, do you stand with the witch on this publicly?
Yeah, I think Anybug, as distraught as he is realizing that this was a just cause, and my grandfather is out there somewhere, and this is in alignment with like needing to find out where Devourer went.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed yourselves.
Pavel? This is great, Ron. Thank you. Thanks for jumping in to do this for us.
Not too bad. Pavel, I know you were a latecomer. Thanks for joining us. And, thanks for...
Yeah, I had good fun.